So come shop the finest loose diamonds in Denver. They're going to have every size, shape, and price range you can imagine, plus the largest selection of engagement ring settings I've ever set eyes on. And not only are they going to share the secret to the business with you, but they're going to give you the best price in Colorado, guaranteed. So why wouldn't you want to create moments and memories for yourself and the ones you love by going to Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche, Denver's first family of fine jewelers, located in Tree Creek North on 3rd Avenue, and also in Inglewood at Broadway and Bellevue. And don't forget to mention my name, Philip Lindsay, when you step through one of those doors.
Men, erectile dysfunction can affect much more than just your sex life. It can create stress in relationships, leading to feelings of anxiety or embarrassment, and impact your overall confidence and well-being. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and we specialize in treating men's sexual health issues to help men find solutions that fit their individual needs. ED is a frustrating condition, and many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But the good news is that if you're like most men, we have the answer. Our licensed medical providers will evaluate your specific medical situation and recommend a plan designed for you. And these advanced medical therapies work, with treatments having success rates of well over 90%, which means you and the one you love can have great sex again without the fear and worry of ED. You can even last up to an hour or more, and you may just find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Hey, that's not bacon grilling. That's your living room at 2 p.m. If your home heats up every summer, your windows might be the reason. Infinity by Marvin Windows protect your home from UV rays, solar heat, and help lower energy bills all summer long. Colorado homeowners have trusted Gravina's Window Center of Littleton for 50 years. Right now, you can save 25% on Infinity by Marvin Windows. Visit them at windowsforyourhome.com. That's windowsforyourhome.com.
Hey, this is Rob Biandino at BeatTheDA.com. I've handled 7,000 cases, over 300 trials. If you've been injured in a car accident or property damage, you need our help. I handle all my cases personally. I know all the medical experts, all the damage experts to get you the most for your injuries and your damages. If you're injured in an accident, call me. I will go to war for you. The insurance company knows that I'm a trial lawyer. That will get you more money, a better settlement at the end of the day. Give me a ring, 720-706-5151. Hit me up at BeatTheDA.com.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Battery charging and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Philip Lindsay. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight. Taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports. From your online home for the best opinions and information on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, and more. DenverSports.com.
Back at it on a Monday. Mike Rice, Dante Gomez, Denver Sports Tonight, taking you through the last part of the first day of the work week. Dante, welcome back. How was the lake day?
It was great. It was hot. Got a little sunburn.
And I heard, you told me that before we went on. It was like, yeah, I remember those days when I wasn't so smart.
Yeah, well, I'm naturally fairly tan, so it's not too bad usually.
Yeah.
But the Colorado sun hits just a little bit different. The elevation, and it's one of those where it's a little uncomfortable to sleep at night because I'm a side sleeper and my shoulder got it pretty bad.
Wow.
But other than that, it was pretty good. I was telling you before the show, I got up. We did some wake surfing.
Yeah.
I'd only been once prior to this and did not get up. I went 0 for 5 trying to get up. This was probably like 10 years ago. And I went on Saturday, and I went 0 for 3, but I kept getting back up there, and then on times 4 and 5, I got up both times.
So you started your pro wakeboarding career 0 for 8.
Yeah, I don't know
and you
about
kept
pro.
track. You kept track, which cracks me up, actually.
Well, you get thrown into the water enough times. It's easy to remember.
Yeah.
And it's easy to remember the triumphs now, so I feel good about it.
Oh, man.
How about yourself? How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. It was hot. A lot of baseball, 16U baseball. That was on the docket. A little bit of work as well, and just kind of surviving the heat. Normally, I like the heat, but I was at our oldest son's baseball game in Colorado Springs. It was an 8 a.m.er on Saturday. And of course, as you know, all the boys have to be there an hour ahead of first pitch, warm-ups and all that. And I got to tell you, Dante, I'm just whining here. I got my violin out early in the week. That normally the heat, I'm fine with it. It hit me hard that first game. And
even that early, I feel like that early would be pretty nice still.
I know. I thought it would be too. And then it's like, man, by the end of it, I am like struggling. I couldn't sit still. I was looking for shade, and then that wasn't good enough. So it was just, but they won that game, so that made it a little bit easier. So it was a lot of fun. Good weekend. And now we're back at it, and we're a day closer to witching hour, Broncos training camp. We're going to start there. We'll hit some baseball, and we'll probably wrap up with a little World Cup talk. Because after all, the tournament wrapped up. The World Cup wrapped up. I know they don't really call it the tournament if you're a soccer guy, but
the table.
I use the term.
Actually, I don't even think they use table in this scenario. I just like that they call. Are you familiar with that term?
The table?
Yeah, that's what they call their standings.
I did not know that.
Yeah, in the English Premier League, when you go to look at the standings, it's not called the standings; it's called the table.
See, I have followed the English Premier League, not super close. I'm not soccer guy status, but I did not know that. There are a lot of terms I do know. Well, you know what drives me nuts about being in the UK is how they
drive on the left side of the road.
Well, yes, that. But I've just got to get this off my chest because I'm a grammar guy. I just love language and grammar. And for singular nouns or collective nouns, they use the plural tense, the plural. Like they will say England instead of I'm trying to think of
England are champions again.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Well, they never said that one because England hasn't won in a very long time.
Right.
I just want to take a little shot at them there.
It's not England are. It's England is.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
It gets a little funky, though, when you're talking about our hometown team, the Avalanche. I get very confused on whether to use plural or singular on some of those.
It's a collective noun. And so when it's a collective noun, it's usually it can mean different things. Like if you said the crowd stands, it literally means all of the crowd stands up. If you say the crowd stand, you wouldn't say that. If you use that, it would be like part of it does. At least that's my understanding. I know I'm going to get a professor on the RamosLaw.com text line that says, Mike, you're full of it. So I will take my lumps if I'm wrong. It's just weird to me because I didn't learn it that way. I didn't learn grammar that way. England are. No, it's just like nails on a chalkboard.
But would you say the Avalanche are champions again?
I would say the Avalanche is the champion.
See, this is where I get so twisted around. Where
what
you said sounds right, and then what I said also sounds right to myself.
It does because the Avalanche is champion. That's how is the champion. That's the way I would put it. And champion then would be singular. See that is so the Avs are champions because Avs is a plural term. All right, so we've twisted ourselves into a grammatical pretzel here. All right, shall we go to training camp instead, Dante? Shall we go there?
Yes, let's.
Bo Nix is in the top 100. He comes in on the poll voted on by the players at number 59. Immediate reaction.
I was surprised he wasn't higher. I really thought 5 spots up from a year ago. It feels like he really outplayed his rookie version of himself. Not that his rookie year wasn't good as well, but he felt like he was carrying the load for this team. Obviously, the win total goes up dramatically from his rookie year to year 2. They're the 1 seed in the AFC, and he was a big reason why. I would have thought he would have been in the 40s somewhere, so not way higher, but I don't know, 5-10 spots higher than what they brought him in at. So I was a little surprised, but I think you can still look at the positives aspects of it, that he is on the list. He is getting recognition ahead of some guys like Brock Purdy, ahead of guys like Lamar Jackson, who have been in this league longer and have had longer stretches of success. So he's still getting his just due. I just thought it would have been a little bit higher.
Because of the success he's had and really had last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not point to last year and say, again, he's a big reason why the Broncos were the best team in the AFC for a majority of the year. You look at the high wire act that he does during these games where fourth quarter, the comebacks are there. So it just felt like he was maybe deserving a little bit more.
I think the fact that he was and had to be so clutch probably worked against him because guys are going like, yeah, okay, he was clutch. He came back, but he wasn't very good for some portion of the game if they played him, right? Or if they saw the game. I mean, if you saw the Giants game, the comeback was beyond incredible. But for 3 quarters, the Broncos were beyond bad at the same time. And the offense in particular was beyond bad. So maybe that was a part of it.
I mean, it would make sense if it is, but there was other games where he was carrying. I mean, that Buffalo Bills game, he was pretty good throughout that playoff game. The Eagles game, he had some late game theatrics as well. So I was just surprised he wasn't listed higher. But then you go back and look at some of the other lists, Pro Football Focus, the ESPN Scouts, Coaches, Executives poll that they came out with, and he's a lot lower on a lot of those lists. So it's kind of a mixed bag with Bo Nix at this point. I think that you can have an argument that he's not a top 15 quarterback, and then you can easily have an argument that he is a top 15 quarterback. It's whatever metrics you want to look at. Feels like you can create an argument with Bo Nix, and he's a polarizing topic because of that.
Where did you think he would land on the list?
I thought he would have been high 40s, like 48.
Yeah, I was thinking mid to upper 40s, just because you have a quarterback who leads a team to a 14-3 record. To be a top 50 guy in the NFL doesn't seem completely out of line. I would say that, I mean, you look at, I think the players really did try and look at this year. Now, not so much with Bo. I think it's more a reflection of maybe they're not as convinced about Bo yet because the sample size isn't all that big. But they really penalized Lamar Jackson for a bad year. I thought, penalized Brock Purdy, who was, 85, for being hurt much of the year, even though when he did play, he was actually pretty good. So I'm trying to get a read on sort of how players approached it, and it's hard to figure it out.
It is, and a lot of people respect the Broncos' defense, which was good for a majority of the year, particularly the first half of the year. I had some concerns the second half of the year. I know they played really well in the AFC Championship game, but that was their first good performance in about 2 months at that point. So I am curious how many of these voters also factored that in, that Bo has a great defense, and maybe that was the reason they were winning a lot of these games. So it's really hard to tell what or how these players prioritize their points when they're voting.
Dante, it sort of leads us, though, to the conversation about this season and what we expect to see, what's fair to expect. And maybe as a fan, it's like, I don't care what's fair. This is what I want, and this is what I expect out of Bo in the offense. And we've talked a little bit about this in terms of relating Bo's main numbers in terms of pass attempts, yardage, and touchdown passes, those kind of things. As far as over-under, we've had that discussion and all. But as you've thought about it, and as we are now very close to training camp, has your expectation changed for what you think Bo and the offense will do?
From this offseason?
Yes,
or
from earlier when we were discussing it after the season, through OTAs, as we heard about the rehab, and is it to now that, okay, we're here basically, or just about here, starting the journey for real. I always look at OTAs are fine, but it's for us, it's filling time about what we might see. Training camps, starts to get down to the nitty-gritty. That's where it starts to get serious. And as I've thought about the beginning of the season, it's like, all right, here's kind of what we were discussing, what I was thinking about as the season was ending, through the first part of the offseason. Now, how do I feel about Bo? Where do you land?
So my expectations changed a lot once they traded for Jalen Waddle, and that was the big move of the offseason. It almost felt like they were about to run it back with a similar team, which obviously was a really good team just a year ago. But I'm really happy that they ended up pulling the trigger on a Jalen Waddle trade. I think he's going to add a lot to this offense. But that was a couple months ago at this point. Davis Webb being appointed as the offensive coordinator, that was a couple months at this point. So the only thing that's changed in my mind in the past couple weeks here would be the health of Bo Nix. And he put out a video of him throwing the football, moving around a little bit, and he looks good out there. So as long as he's healthy, my expectations are pretty high for Bo Nix, and that's to lead this team to a 11-win season, 11-plus win season again. Cut down on the turnovers, not that he had too much of them, and really increase his yardage, his efficiency. I think efficiency is a big area that he can grow in this year, but I've had those expectations since the news of Waddle, since the news of Davis Webb, and now it's time for him to go out there and execute that. But I'm not lowering the bar for Bo Nix by any means. I get that he had a great year last year, but that doesn't give him an excuse to go out there and have a poorer this year. So I think that he needs to build upon what he's done, not plateau or go in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. And I look at the TD passes of 25, and I remember when we discussed this about an over-under, I'm looking at that being over, and solidly over. Here's my big point. That's an example of along the lines you just articulated. As we get closer to training camp, my excitement level grows, my expectation grows, not to where, oh yeah, this is not going to be a problem, this schedule, or, oh yeah, easy 12, 13 win season. Not to that degree. I'm talking about the progression out of Bo. I'm talking about the relationship with Davis Webb and how it may take a little minute or two, but for that relationship to bear fruit on the field, and energy and excitement, a joy playing the game. I am so excited to see where all of that lands with Bo, first and foremost individually, and then to your point, the offense as a whole. But I think it starts with Bo, it ends with Bo, and everything in between hinges on Bo.
Yeah, completely agree with all of that. And I will say, I'll differ a little bit in that opinion. I think J.K. Dobbins being healthy a lot is going to be a big part of this offense and take some of that weight off of Bo Nix. And I mentioned that efficiency is an area Bo Nix really needs to grow in. I think there's one other area he really needs to grow in, and that's playing within the system, in the structure, and not relying on backyard football to go out there and win games, which we saw a lot of in fourth quarters last year. And it's great that he has that in his back pocket, but you need to be able to be successful in the first three quarters when you're playing within the system and not just running around with your head cut off making plays.
John on the RamosLaw.com text line has a really good thought from the 7066. It is John. The materials have been delivered. The plans are drawn. Now it's up to Bo to build this house. Beyond excited for this season. Expectations are high, and I feel we are Super Bowl bound this year. The last part, I'm always I'm just going to say it. I'm always at least a little reluctant to go Super Bowl or bust because ultimately it doesn't mean anything to say that. It just doesn't. And we saw it with the Avs. Nate McKinnon, yeah, it is cup or bust. Okay, great. What did that mean when it was bust? So I don't think it necessarily means anything in terms of moves that get made by the organization after a disappointing end in the playoffs. And for me as a fan, do I think they're capable of getting to the Super Bowl? Without question. Is there a part of me that expects it? Yeah, I do. I think it's a realistic expectation. But if they don't, am I going to sit here and be down in the dumps? The future's over. No, I'll be bummed because I want them to go that far. But I just have never thought of it that way, Dante. And here's why. Because ultimately, it really doesn't matter if it's bust. I mean, because next year, all of us in Broncos country are going to be back expecting another good season.
So I think championship or bust does exist. I just don't think it exists with this Broncos team this year. I'm not going to judge the successfulness or failure of this team based on if they go to the Super Bowl or not, especially if we're talking about Bo Nix individually. I'm not going to judge Bo Nix individually if they go to the Super Bowl or not. There's teams that does apply to, though, like the Los Angeles Rams. It is Super Bowl or bust for those guys. It is a failure if they do not go to the Super Bowl. Bo Nix and the Broncos can have a great year, go to the AFC divisional round, and lose in overtime on a field goal or something like that. And I can still sit there at the end of the year and say, hey, that was a heck of a year. Bo Nix grew a lot. We're going to be talking about him as a top 10 quarterback by the end of this. We're going to be talking about Davis Webb being a top coordinator in the NFL after this. I think there's still room to grow for this team without it necessarily being championship or bust like it is for a handful of the other teams.
Okay, but let's just take the example you
But with
gave.
the Avs, real quick, with the Avs, I truly did see this year as a championship or bust. It was a failure that they did not win a championship or even get to the championship, the Stanley Cup final. I don't feel that way about this Broncos team, though.
Okay, I get that, and I understand that. I don't know that I would call it a failure per se. It was completely disappointing. And in and of itself, yes, they failed to get as far as I thought they should have. But take the Rams and even the Avs. It's like by saying it's a failure, to me that implies, well, it's sort of, I mean, they're the best team and they should win. And it's like, there are too many other good teams in the NFL, to a lesser degree, I think, in the NHL. But the playoffs, as we all know, are just wonky in that respect. And so there is no sort of guarantee of winning it all. And especially in the NFL, where when the playoffs come, sometimes the best teams on paper, the best teams in the regular season, don't have the best playoff runs. So are they capable? Are the Rams one of the favorites? Yes. But why would it be a failure if they don't win and the Seahawks repeat, as one example?
If the Seahawks don't repeat, is what you mean.
No, if the Seahawks repeat, how is that a failure of a season for the Rams?
Because they're the best team in the football or in the NFL. Everyone's agreed upon it. The betting odds say so. You have the MVP at quarterback. You have the defensive player on your defense as well. You have one of the best head coaches in the NFL. You have one of the best wide receiver tandems in the NFL. So I think, yes, I think that applies to certain teams like the Rams, and I get it that there's no guarantee that you're going to win the championship on any given year, but if you're the favorite and you fall short, I think it's fair to call that a disappointment at that point and a failure.
Okay, I guess
there's very few teams that applies to, but like the Rams this year.
Are they the only team in your mind in the NFL that applies to?
Let me pull up a list of the teams.
I mean, like,
I think Buffalo has to get to at least. They're the only ones that applies to the Super Bowl, I would say.
Okay,
is the Los Angeles Rams.
So the Rams are head and shoulders the favorite to win it.
Yes,
and so from that standpoint, they're the main candidate to say, hey, if they don't win it, that's a failure big time.
Yeah, if you're at the top of the sport and you don't end up at the top, that means something went wrong along the way.
Okay, I can see the point with the Rams. I don't know. It's certainly not the Broncos. They're not in that category.
Well, I do think that, and there's a text here from JD about the Broncos.
Yeah.
Where was it?
Well, I can get it. I've got it right here. You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Yeah. JD says, so in other words, there's no standard. The Broncos can do whatever, fail, however, and it's not a failure?
So, no, there is a level that they need to reach, but it's just, for me, it's not the Super Bowl. You need to make the playoffs. If you don't make the playoffs this year,
man.
that is a failure.
Yes.
I would say if you don't get out of the wild card round, that's a failure. If you get to the divisional round, I can live with that with this Broncos team and where they're at on this current timeline. Bo Nix is in year 3, still a young-ish quarterback. This defense, Nick Bonito is still young. Patrick Surtain is still young. They have time to figure it out. They are not primed like the Rams are at the moment.
No, I think I can certainly buy that. JD, also in talking about the NHL, he's a big hockey guy too. He says people act like there aren't a bunch of other really good NHL teams too, like those teams don't have a say in it too, which is sort of my point. Other teams have a say in it, and it is just, I don't know, the longer I have covered and followed sports, professional sports in particular, Dante, it is really, really hard to win it all.
Oh, I know that, Mike.
Even when you're the team that should win it all.
I get that. I'm from Arizona. We don't win anything. I get how hard it is to win championships in sports, but if you're leading the race and you end up not winning the race at the end, it's you stumbled and fell. Or somebody had a crazy comeback and they outplayed you. But they weren't supposed to outplay you. They weren't supposed to beat you in this race. If you're leading the race, you should win the race. And the Avs were leading the race all season, just like the Rams are probably going to be leading the race all season.
Okay, fill in the blank with this multiple question. The Broncos' offense will be blank better. Marginally better, substantially better, or absolutely positively 1,000,000% better?
I'm going to go off the grid here. I'm going to do it like a Mad Lib.
Yeah.
Consistently better.
Okay.
I think we're going to see a version of this offense that is good in the first quarter, in the second quarter, in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter on a week-to-week basis. They're not going to stoop down to the Jets level and have to eke out a win. They're not going to stoop down to the Raiders level and have to eke out wins. They're going to be consistently better from the start of games, not have to rely on the Bo Nix magic in fourth quarters. And yes, Bo Nix will still have some of that, but if you have 13 come from behind wins again, I get that it's great to have 13 wins, but that's not a good sign for me. I think they need to be, there was a stat that came out today, I believe it was Warren Sharp, and it was teams that led the most amount of snaps this year. The Broncos need to be higher on that list in terms of teams that are leading and have possession of the ball.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. I want to close this conversation by saying something that relates to two main guys for the Broncos offensively. We know Bo and the ankle issues. We know JK, you mentioned it, and all of the injury issues in general. I will confess, Dante, I have not thought about that or been concerned about it for either guy. Do I think it's a concern and a key to the season? Of course. Have I lost sleep over, oh my gosh, when's JK going to go down? I really haven't. I just haven't. And I'm not going to. I'm my fingers are crossed, my toes are crossed, everything that both guys stay healthy throughout. And JK, he is right that it was a little bit of a, not only illegal, but a little bit of a freak injury that he had, but it doesn't matter. He's been hurt a lot. But I haven't lost sleep over it. In short, have you?
I haven't lost sleep over it necessarily because I believe in Jonah Coleman as a backup as well. And it's one of those things you can't predict when an injury is going to happen. You can't focus on the negative side of injuries in sports because that's when you do go out and get hurt. So at this point, it wouldn't surprise me when it comes up or if it comes up, but it's not something I think about when I think about this Broncos team. It's just not something that's, again, I'm not going to lose sleep over it, as you just described there. It's just something that, again, I'm not going to be surprised by or caught off guard if it ends up happening at some point.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. All right, we're going to turn our attention to baseball.
I got one last thing I want to say to JD here, and I saw you just responded to him, but he texted in, making the playoffs is an unbelievably pathetic standard to set. Seriously, that's it? And to that I would say, I did say they need to make it to the divisional round, not just make the playoffs. But these two organizations are in completely different places. The Avs have been at the top of the NHL, or a top 5 team in the NHL, for the last, 8 years? The Broncos were terrible just 2 years ago. So these two organizations are in completely different spots. Their expectations are in completely different places as well.
And let me say, I love JD. He has great takes, great thoughts. Sometimes we see things a little differently, and I think that's the case. on this one. All right, we are going to turn our attention to baseball. Do the Rockies have a major decision to make on their budding superstar? That's next.
Jalen Waddle's here. Davis Webb's calling plays. The defense that reached the AFC Championship is back. But the number one storyline at Broncos training camp starts and ends with Bo Nix's ankle.
Are you positive that ankle's broken?
Is he fully healthy? And what does that mean for Denver's Super Bowl hopes? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hi, Dan Cicchini, Done Right Home Improvements. For an 8% scheduling incentive and a special financing rate of 0% APR with 72 equal monthly payments, go to drhi.com. Kitchens, baths, counters, and floors. Finished basements, windows, and doors. You have our word, we'll treat you right at Done Right.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, PSA and T-test, and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
I'm Rob Wilhite. For almost 50 years, Colorado has trusted the Wilhite Law Firm after serious car accidents. With over $1 billion recovered, we know how to win for our community. Injured? Call 303-GOOD-LAW or visit WilhiteWins.com. That's WilhiteWins.com.
Summer is a time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your tan or abs. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to decades of thinning during Advanced Hair's once-yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and it can even grow for life. Did I mention Advanced Hair even guarantees your new hair will grow? Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during Advanced Hair's best offer ever. The summer sales event is on for a limited time, so schedule your free consultation and get the details today. 720-459-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results with Advanced Hair. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and get your savings details while still available. That's 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Progressive presents the Museum of You.
We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then, you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with a renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
When you see this in your kitchen,
this stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
You hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Let the big dog eat. What's up, guys? Zach here, and I am all in on golf these days. Always looking for tee times, booking lessons, and saying yes to rounds with friends. And that's why Aurora has become my go-to for playing and practicing. Yes, we're talking about practice. From beginners just starting out to competitive players, Aurora Golf has a course you'll love. All 5 courses are in beautiful shape. The staff are super friendly, and the value, man, it's tough to beat. Book your next round tonight at golfaurora.com and give their Instagram a follow at golfaurora.co.
This segment on The Fan brought to you by Denver Roof Pros.
It's Denver Sports Tonight on Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan.
All right, Mike and Dante rolling on a Monday night. Hope your week is off to a good start. Good conversation about the Broncos, about Bo. 59th in the players' top 100 list. We both agree we thought Bo would wind up a little bit better, but he'll go show it. He'll go show it after this.
He's got plenty of time in his career to rise up that list.
He does. All right, let's talk a little baseball because the Rockies have a guy who is blossoming as a bona fide star on their hands, and that's, of course, catcher Hunter Goodman, who hit 3 more bombs and now has 30 this year, 56 RBIs, the average at 257. He is 1 home run and 35 RBIs away from his totals of 31 and 91 last year. So the question becomes, as the Rockies are seeking to not only get back to mediocrity, but better than that, build a consistent winner, a team that can consistently challenge for the division, make runs in the playoffs. We'll start there. Won't even mention the World Series term yet. The Rockies really have 3 options right now with Hunter Goodman, Dante, and I want to know where you and others stand. And you can weigh in on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. Or on the YouTube chat powered by Shop Honda. Do you look to trade and actively shop Hunter Goodman? Do you sign him to a long-term extension, much like they did with Ezekiel Tovar last year, and bank on the fact that what they're seeing out of Hunter Goodman is legit, much like they undoubtedly thought what they were seeing from Ezekiel Tovar a couple years ago was legit, and maybe not so much now, a couple years into the contract? Or do you just take it year by year, let him enter arbitration, give him the 1-year deal, let him play next year, see how much better the team is, and decide on a long-term future then? Where do you come down?
Definitely not the first one of actively shopping Hunter Goodman. I think that would be a big mistake for, one, the relationship between the player and the organization. No player likes to hear themselves in trade rumors, and I'm sure that applies to Hunter Goodman as well. So, no, I'm not actively shopping him. I would listen to some offers. If you get blown away with something and it's just a Godfather type of offer that you can't refuse, I would listen, and maybe you get the Juan Soto deal that the Padres gave up to where was Juan Soto? To Washington initially, and you're getting 3, 4, 5 big league impact guys. You got to listen at that point, but I would like to try to get him an extension and keep him here long term. The only reason I'm a little hesitant even about that, catchers' knees can go a little quickly, and we see these catchers age fairly quickly in terms of how healthy they are. Salvador Perez down in Kansas City looked like he was going to be the next best catcher for a decade plus, and he has been good, but the production definitely slowed down as he got older, and that can happen with that position. So I'm a little hesitant to sign him to a huge deal for the rest of his career, let's call it. But if you can buy out a couple years of arbitration and buy out a couple years of when he would be a free agent, I would certainly be interested in that if you get the right price.
Okay, so let's just get into the weeds a step or two along those lines. Goodman is eligible for arbitration after this year, be the first of 3 years he'd be eligible, and then he'd be eligible to be a free agent somewhere around, I think it would be 2030 would be his first year. I think that's right. So if the Rocky, and remember, he's 26 years old right now, so he's a little bit on the older side to be entering arbitration. He's not an old player, but when you talk about service time and the economics of the contract situation, he is a little bit older. And I know Zach and Phil were talking about the contract right now. He's $810,000 deal, which is...
Well, it's the final year you're going to get that deal.
Right.
It's going to skyrocket next year.
And if the Rockies choose to go arbitration, I'm guessing he's got to be on the, the $20 million range on the low side. Not 40. He wouldn't get that in arbitration, but for a first-year ARB-eligible player, he's going to be, I would think, in that 18 to 22 range.
I was actually going to say 18 plus, so I think we're on the same page.
Okay, so it's going to be a huge raise, as it should be. Nobody would argue that. The Rockies know that raise is coming if they keep him. Here's what I want. I want the best of both worlds. I want them to be talking to Goodman about a long-term deal. So it would be, I would say, at least 5 years, probably between 5 and 7 years, at somewhere around 20 to 25 million per year AAV. So if it's the low side and it's 5 years, 125, then he's a free agent at about 32 years old, which statistically usually is the start, the beginning of the end of a baseball player's prime. Not every guy's, but statistically, that's how it often works. 32, 33 years old. So you buy out the first 2, maybe 3 years of free agency. And if you're Hunter Goodman, because you're 26, that has to be appealing, because if he waits another year, number one, there's no guarantee the Rockies would offer another extension. What if he slacks off? Or not slacks off, but what if his production declines for whatever reason next year? I don't know. Then he may be looking at most one big contract when he's about 30 years old in 2030 or 29 years old. That's a risk for Hunter Goodman when you know that you're just entering arbitration. So I want the Rockies to be talking 5 or 6 year deal, but at the same time, if teams do call, hey, is Goodman available? Well, look, Joe, GM, you know that would take a lot. You put together your best offer, and don't try and shortchange us, because we have no desire to trade this guy. And here's the deal. The trade that you outlined that Patrick Lyons, Rockies insider, had detailed earlier, that's not enough for me. That's not nearly enough for me. To me, it would take 2 legitimate major league starting arms and at least 1 top 50 prospect. That's the baseline starting point if I'm even thinking about trading Hunter Goodman. And that top 50 prospect has to be a pitcher, if not top 25 prospect. If I'm not getting at least 3 pitchers that I know can help me next year in a major way, I'm not interested at all. But I got to listen.
Tough negotiator there, Mike.
Exactly
I like it.
right.
They need you in the room.
That's right. Well, I mean, is that fair?
No, I think it is fair. When you're talking about a 26-year-old 2-time All-Star at that position of catcher where it's hard to find offensive production and you have one of the top hitters also in baseball, I definitely think the asking price needs to be way up there, because wherever he goes is probably going to give him that big extension and he'll be there forever. And if you're talking about trading a guy to be the catcher of the Red Sox for the next decade, you should be getting a good chunk in return there.
Right. And Patrick's trade was, again, it was speculation. It's not that there was any, I don't know, like legitimacy. I think he was playing a little bit of fantasy baseball, if I can read into it. But, Marcelo Meyer was mentioned. Connolly Early was mentioned. I mean, okay, good young pitcher, but
he hasn't looked as good as like Cam Schlittler for the Yankees.
Right. Now, give me 2 of those guys.
2 of them.
And a top prospect. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, though. I mean, you have to play tough, because ultimately, again, I'm in the position right now of the Rockies front office. I want Hunter Goodman here. He's the exact kind of player that I need and the Rockies need to build around and to have as part of the core. And we had this discussion on Friday, not just for the bat, but for his work as a catcher with young pitchers that'll be coming up through the pipeline. So could I get a haul? And we have a text on the RamosLaw.com text line from the 6551. Trade Goodman now, arms. Fine. Get the Andrew Luck of pitchers, like 2 or 3 of them, and I'd be open to listening. But if my scouts don't tell me they're the Andrew Lucks of pitching, forget it. You're wasting my time.
Yeah, and when you talk about those pitchers, I'm assuming you meant young pitchers as well. You
absolutely.
Don't want – well, you're talking about big league impact arms, though. I want guys that are still under the age of 25 when I'm bringing them in here. I don't want a guy that's 30, 29, anything like that. And, yeah, he's had some success in the big leagues. No, I want somebody I can keep here for a very long time.
Will from Aurora has an interesting text. Did trade ever enter the conversation for Larry Walker? I understand the position is different, but I would liken Goodman to Walker for offensive production. Last point, okay, but completely, as Will mentions, completely different scenario in terms of the stage of their career. Larry wanted to compete for a title. The Rockies actually wanted to give him that opportunity, and they weren't in a position of being all that competitive at the time they traded him. And so I think they tried to do the right thing by Larry. And that is obviously nowhere. I mean, I'm not saying they want to, hose Hunter Goodman, but Hunter Goodman's 26 years old and entering the prime of his career. Larry Walker was still a good player whose best years were behind him. I mean, he's 36 years old or so at the time of that deal.
I also don't think, and this might be a little bit of a hot take, I don't think it's the worst thing if the Rockies play out arbitration for the next 3 years and then let him walk in free agency. And at that point, he would be a little bit older. You mentioned that he's entering arbitration as an older guy compared to what we normally see. And maybe we do get the prime of Hunter Goodman over the last 2 years in the next 3 years going forward. I still don't think that's the worst case scenario for this team.
I want to see Hunter Goodman around.
I do too. I'm not saying I don't want to see him long term.
Right.
I'm just saying that it's not. Don't bring out the pitchforks if he does happen to leave in free agency 3 years from now.
And this situation would be completely different than other guys that the Rockies have just let walk. You have to know your history. You can't just knee jerk it and say, well, it'd be just like every. No, it wouldn't. It would not be the same. Compared to many of those. Want to get to one last text on this topic. Joe weighs in on the RamosLaw.com text line. Goodman is probably worth keeping around even as a DH. There certainly is that option because, to your point, Dante, I think you have to monitor his catching duties. I mean, he's still your primary catcher, but the wear and tear is a real thing. And
in the day of universal DH, which I still sometimes even forget, that is a good option for him.
For sure. All right, we're going to close it out by talking World Cup, and it just goes to show you that not just the Super Bowl disappoints. That's next.
They're back. Our free limited edition Training Camp 2026 t-shirts. We currently have drops at various Santiago's Mexican restaurants across the metro area. Limit 1 per person while supplies last. For more details and to find the location nearest you, head to DenverSports.com/shirt.
It's home selling season. And what's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Low ball offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with an Orchard agent. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale. Their local agents help you sell on market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front to buy and move into your new home first. On your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then, once you're settled in, your Orchard agent helps you sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one customer said. I went under contract within 24 hours of my home listing, which was amazing. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 25% upfront bonus? And are they promising you up to 9% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They aren't. That's up to $25,000 upfront or up to $9,000 per year on $100,000, guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Unlock your Trajan family office at TrajanWealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. DBA in most states has Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Don't worry, Dan. I have full coverage. Did you know that full coverage probably doesn't mean what most people thinks it means? Full coverage is generally just for your car. And if you don't have other coverages to protect you in the case you get hit by somebody else, well, then you're just straight up gambling that the bad driver that hits you has good insurance, and you don't want to do that. 15% of the drivers out there don't have any insurance at all. Others only have the minimum, when for pennies on the dollar, you can have the coverage that protects you in case somebody else smacks into you. Medical payments coverage. I saw a lady come in the office the other day, $25,000 in med pay coverage. Absolutely what you want. It was only $31 for the entire 6 months of the policy. It was another $100 or so for the UIM coverage she needed. She had over $100,000 in coverage there. You definitely want to have that. You protect other drivers if you hit them. You also need to protect yourself in case they hit you. Any questions at all, just call us 303-LAW-4040. Jacob's Law, 303-LAW-4040.
Be careful if you haven't filed taxes in a while. The IRS is going after non-filers like never before. Whether you have income taxes or payroll taxes that have not been filed, Advanced Tax Solutions can help you get back in the system and avoid trouble with the IRS before they show up or send you a scary letter. Call the people I trust, Advanced Tax Solutions. They'll help you get back into the system and off the IRS's radar. 303-753-6040 or visit advancedtaxsolutions.com.
Hi, I'm Donnie, owner of Fitness Gallery, where we believe there's nothing more important than your health. We've just celebrated our 27th year in business. Thank you for your continued support.
Hey, Broncos country, I'm Terrell Davis. That's why I made the smart move to invest in fitness equipment with Fitness Gallery. It's a game changer. Work out on your schedule from the privacy of your own home.
At Fitness Gallery, we have the nation's lowest prices on the highest quality products that stand the test of time.
Imagine this, no more wasting time in traffic, no more crowded gyms. And here's the touchdown play, get your family involved. Your health is your ultimate MVP, and I know staying fit is not always easy. Whether it's Rod, Carl, or myself, we shop at Fitness Gallery, and you should too. With the right equipment at home, you can train like a pro whenever it suits you. You never regret buying quality. Fitness Gallery sells commercial-grade equipment for the home. It's simply the best.
Invest in your health and happiness with Fitness Gallery. Visit one of our 7 store locations for a free home gym layout and design today.
We're hiring at Don's Garage Doors. No experience? No problem. We provide full training, a brand new van, top-of-the-line tools, a gas card, and steady jobs with weekly pay. This isn't just a job. It's a career with real growth, great pay, and job security. Our team members go from training to 6 figures, and we're ready to help you do the same. Don't wait. Apply now at donsgaragedoors.com.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports Station 104.3 The
World Cup champion title, and they were not able to earn it. Spain gets the win with the goal in extra time. The shocking part about all this, and Dante, we were both in agreement on the World Cup. Totally into it. Absolutely captivated through pretty much the entire run of the matches. But this was a dud in the final. And the drama was there only because in soccer, you never know. In football, you never know. And with a guy like Messi and the stars that the Argentinians have, okay, how do you not have a single shot through the first 116 minutes? It's mind-blowing. It's the Super Bowl equivalent of the 49ers beating the Broncos 55-10. It was a boring match.
I'm going to disagree with you. I didn't think it was a dud at all. I enjoyed the game, and I'm not the biggest soccer guy. I was very much into the World Cup itself. I think the event is very cool, and I think the national pride aspect of it is very fun to watch. But I thought it was exciting. It was 0-0. It wasn't a blowout. It wasn't like it was 4-0 and it was over before you knew it. And soccer is one of those sports, much like hockey, where you can get outplayed for the entirety of the game, but on the final scoreboard, all that matters is how many goals you have. And for a majority of the game, it was 0-0, and it was up in the air. And I get that Argentina wasn't pressing and shooting on goal too much throughout the game, but all it takes is one. And if Messi's ridiculous shot from outside the box that he curved up, I thought that thing had 0% chance of going in. It didn't go in, obviously, but that thing ducked and dove, and all it takes is one in that sport, and the fact that it was 0-0 and the goalkeeper for Argentina was keeping them in the game, I was still very intrigued throughout.
Yeah, I mean, being intrigued and having and reaching to the level where I would call it a really good, captivating match. Again, it's intriguing because, I mean, no one's going to, very rarely, I mean, Spain wasn't going to win 4-0. I mean, that just wasn't.
Well, they played them to where they probably could have. They outplayed Argentina to where it probably should have been something like 4-0.
But nobody expect, if that's the measuring stick for a bad World Cup final, to me that's completely unrealistic.
Well, you brought up the Broncos in 55-10?
55-10.
Okay, that's a blowout to where it's over. Even if you get was the Rams and Patriots, that was a boring game.
That was 13-3, but that was just a defensive game. That wasn't a
I would
bad
equate that
game.
to this, to where it's not a blowout and it's anybody's game throughout a majority of it.
Yeah, but how does Argentina not have any interest in trying to score?
They were maybe trying to buy their time until PKs. I don't know exactly what it was. Do you prefer the NBA All-Star game where it's 220 to 210?
No.
Is that more enjoyable for you than a 1-0 soccer game?
No. That's fair. That's a fair question. In this case, with the World Cup final, I want to see a match where both teams are trying to score. Argentina just turtled the whole match, and I couldn't figure it out.
They were playing defense. They kept themselves in the game because of it. They were playing the field possession game. They were punting on fourth downs.
Okay, right. So if they opened it up even a little bit, I mean, you've got Messi, and he's not the only star they have. No one else to that level, of course. But I mean, come on, at least try. I mean, it left
me intrigued. I was into the game.
Intriguing for me in a World Cup final is not enough. Just like, I mean, 28-3 when the Patriots were trailing the Falcons was not enough. Had Atlanta gone on and won that, that's not enough to make it a good game.
That's a blowout that you're talking about, though. If Atlanta would have kept going,
this was a blowout to me, just not in the goal column.
And that's what made it so fun, was that Argentina got outplayed the whole game and they still had a chance to win pretty much the entire game.
Dante gets the last word on this. Great to see you, my friend. Thanks for hanging out with us on Denver Sports tonight on 104.3 The Fan.
They're back. Our free limited edition Training Camp 2026 t-shirts. We currently have drops at various Santiago's Mexican restaurants across the metro area. Limit one per person while supplies last. For more details and to find the location nearest you, head to DenverSports.com/shirt.
When you've been hurt after a traumatic car crash, you don't need a sales pitch from an attorney with big promises and a loud voice. You need a team who fights for real results fast. That's why so many across the country choose the Berg Simpson Law Firm. Berg Simpson is nationally recognized but is local right here in Colorado. So give us a call and let our team fight for the results you deserve today.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
When Vantage walks your property for a threat zone analysis, they don't send a salesman. They send a security pro with years of experience designing and installing these systems. The same pro who walks your property, designs your system, installs your cameras, and picks up the phone 3 years later when you need them. Same team, start to finish. That's the Vantage standard. Invest in real security for your home. Call Vantage at 720-366-7759 or visit vssicolorado.com today.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special, both for you and your partner. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're the leader in treating ED in the area. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us.